There has been a single leitmotif that has been thrilling prancing horse enthusiasts since 1947, the naturally aspirated, mid-front mounted V12, the very first Ferrari engine to roar its way through the factory gates in Maranello. Unveiled today to public and media against the spectacular backdrop of Miami Beach in celebration of the 70th anniversary of Ferrari's arrival on the American market, the Ferrari 12 Cilindri is the natural evolution of the company's uncompromising powertrain philosophy, which over the decades has continued to develop without ever straying from its original DNA and the marque's core values. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri is inspired by the legendary Grand Tourers of the 1950s and 60s, embodying the front-mounted Ferrari V12 two-seater mission with its effortless combination of elegance, versatility, and performance. The car represents the latest evolution in this bloodline and continues that unique legacy, elevating it towards new standards in performance, comfort, and design. Its silhouette exudes sportiness and class. Simple yet harmonious lines feature an integrated active aerodynamic device to guarantee peerless performance, a front-hinged bonnet that exalts the view of the engine bay, and the two twin tailpipes that have become a signature of Ferrari's 12-cylinder cars. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri's engine is the latest development of the iconic V12 that laid the foundations for the Maranello legend, in this version unleashing 830 CV and with maximum revs, rising to a heady 9,500 revolutions per minute. The impressive power curve ensures 80% of total torque is already available at just 2,500 revolutions per minute, resulting in instantaneous pickup for maximum accelerator response and a feeling of never-ending power all the way to the red line. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri's cockpit guarantees superb comfort for both driver and passenger, even on long journeys. Its feeling of airiness and space is heightened still further by a glass roof, prestigious materials, and a central display in added. Ion to one for the driver and a third ahead of the passenger. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri is aimed at driving enthusiasts, but also at those who demand new standards of performance, comfort, and design. Long-standing Ferraristi, loyal to the unique emotions that only the Ferrari V12 can deliver, as well as new clients dreaming of combining comfort and Italian design with exhilarating driving pleasure. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri is designed for connoisseurs with a very clear vision of what Ferrari's DNA has always been, truly making it a car for the few. The F140 HD engine equipping the Ferrari 12 Cilindri is the new version of the iconic naturally aspirated Ferrari V12, the purest expression of Ferrari's soul. Its peerless performance, powerful soundtrack, and exclusivity make it the worthy heir to the legendary Berlinetta sports cars that wrote some of the most glittering chapters in the marque's history. The engine can unleash up to 830 CV, while its max revs have been increased to 9,500 revolutions per minute by adopting challenging and innovative solutions. The engine features modified components and software, some of which were already adopted on the Special Series 812 Competizione, ensuring it tops its category in terms of performance. To allow the V12 to rev so high, the engineers worked to reduce the weight and inertia of the engine's components, adopting titanium con rods, which guarantee a saving of 40% in rotating mass compared to steel with the same mechanical resistance. A different aluminium alloy was used for the pistons, making them lighter than on previous applications. Further weight reduction was gained by the adoption of a rebalanced crankshaft, which is 3% lighter. The valve train with sliding finger followers is derived from Ferrari's unparalleled experience in Formula One and was developed specifically for the V12 with the aim of reducing mass and availing of more high-performance valve profiles. The sliding finger follower, which is steel with a diamond-like carbon DLC coating, transmits the action of the cam to the valve using a hydraulic tappet as the pivot for its movement. The use of DLC reduces the coefficient of friction at critical points, significantly improving the mechanical efficiency of the engine. Most of the modifications focused on optimizing torque delivery in all operating conditions. The result is an engine with exhilaratingly smooth, seamless response that delivers peak power at the red line. The manifold and the plenum layout is now very compact. Shortening the length of the tracks and optimizing the cam profiles allows power to be unleashed at high revs, while the torque curve is optimized at all engine speeds by a system of variable geometry inlet tracks, which enables the length of the intake track to be continuously varied to maximize the dynamic charge in the cylinder. for the very first time on a naturally aspirated engine, an innovative software strategy was developed that can modify the maximum torque available as a functio. End of the gear selected. This gives the driver the feeling of smooth, progressive pickup as the transmission ratio increases. Another vital factor in making the driving exhilaration delivered by the Ferrari 12 Cilindri truly unique, a crescendo of never-ending acceleration and power delivery has been a signature of all Ferrari V12s. Now, innovative aspirated torque shaping, ATS, has allowed Maranello engineers to sculpt the torque curve in third and fourth gears using sophisticated electronic control that improves perception of the torque without impinging on acceleration, all to the benefit of driving pleasure. The introduction of new gear ratios furthermore keeps acceleration levels high and allowed the engineers to define a new torque curve shape for an aspirated engine. Optimizing the engine's mechanical efficiency and that of the lubrication circuit is critical to delivering blistering performance and low fuel consumption. The calibration of the variable displacement oil pump allows the oil to circulate throughout the entire engine and then be recovered along with the vapors from the sump. A solenoid valve, controlled by the engine ECU in a closed loop, is used to control the pump's displacement in terms of engine revs and pressure, delivering only the amount of oil required and thereby simultaneously saving a significant amount of energy. The new configuration of the oil tank and pump's hydraulic circuit reduces losses to a minimum and optimizes functionality in all operating conditions. The gasoline direct injection system, GDI at 350 bars, comprises 2 petrol pumps and 4 rails with pressure sensors that provide feedback to the pressure control system. The electronic injectors can also control up to 3 injections per engine cycle. The ignition system is constantly monitored by the engine control unit, which has a single and a multi-spark function. The ECU also controls combustion in the chamber to ensure that the engine is always working in peak thermodynamic efficiency conditions. Using a sophisticated strategy that recognizes the octane rating of the fuel in the tank to avoid knocking, the new exhaust system, developed to allow the car to comply with the latest emissions requirements, EU 6E, China 6B, and BIN 50, introduces a ceramic catalytic converter coupled with a particulate filter. This is the most advanced emissions reduction technology available and involved lengthy calibration of the software strategies. Sound is pivotal to marrying the comfort, luxury, and exhilarating driving emotions typical of a Ferrari V12. To this end, every element of the intake and exhaust lines were optimized. Equal-length exhaust tracks, the 6-in-1 manifold for every cylinder bank, and the innovative design of the central sections has resulted in Ferrari's typical V12 howl that comprises all of the noble combustion orders. The perfect integration and calibration of high and low frequencies coming from the intake and exhaust systems, respectively. LSO influence the engine's timbre. The shape of the ducts and the internal fluid dynamics of the silencer baffles have been designed to reduce back pressure to a minimum, thereby improving power delivery. The geometry of the forms and curves of the exhaust system was also perfected to guarantee the very purest notes of the signature Ferrari sound all the way to the limiter. To guarantee that the soundtrack in the cabin is perfectly balanced, the intake tract was modified. Modifying the position of the resonators also changed the pressure waves, resulting in a richer range, particularly in terms of the middle frequencies. The result is a cleaner, more full sound in the cabin in all driving conditions, but especially in sportier situations. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri sports the 8-speed DCT dual-clutch transmission that received such an unanimously rapturous welcome on other cars in the range, starting with the SF90 Stradale. Thanks in part to larger tires on 21-inch rims, this solution delivers 5% shorter gear ratios in the lower gears and a 12% increase in torque at the wheels compared to previous V12 applications, all to the benefit of longitudinal performance under acceleration and gear shifting times, 30% faster than the previous V12 Berlinetta applications. Performance under acceleration through the gears has been significantly improved, and the introduction of the 8th gear improves range in motorway driving. The 8-speed DCT thus both improves efficiency and is more engaging in all gears. With the Ferrari 12 Cilindri, Flavio Manzoni and the Ferrari Styling Center design team set out to radically transform the stylistic codes of Ferrari's previous mid-front engine V12s, the car in fact marks a clear departure from the sculptural language that characterized the 812 Competizione, for example, instead favoring a more sophisticated language that still retains the necessary formal design rigor to achieve a sense of stylistic unity. Clean lines dominate the car's geometry. Why? Underscoring the volumes that make up a seamlessly interconnected whole, the ultra-clean flanks sweep back along the entire car from a dihedral section. Although retaining a signature Ferrari sensuality, the wings have been sculpted with extreme geometric precision. All the lines are the result of intersections between the volumes, and a more functional approach to form has been taken that eschews nostalgia. The muscular rear wing is imposing, yet also perfectly controlled geometrically. On the front wing, that muscular tension extends slightly, coming to rest along the flank and further accentuating the car's monolithic aesthetic. The sculpted bonnet is extremely sleek and incorporates the front wings. Removing the cut lines from the wings gives a smooth, uninterrupted surface to the muscularity of the design, lending the entire bonnet a sense of ultra-clean fluidity, interrupted only by two vents to cool the engine bay. One of the objectives of the Ferrari 12 Cilindri was to explore design languages only tangentially related to the car world. The front has thus lost certain signature elements, such as the elongated form of the headlights and the traditional grille shape, in favor of geometries and intersections innate to the car's design. The headlights are integrated into a single wraparound band from which the DRLs emerge like blades. A similar approach has been taken with the rear architecture. Once again, rigor is the order of the day with the shape obtained by the subtraction of volume. Consistent with the front of the car, the taillights are set into a blade that traverses the entire concave rear section and also provides what is possibly the Ferrari 12 Cilindri's real signature theme, demonstrating once again how cleverly the Ferrari Styling Center's designers are able to meld technical and functional demands with beauty. Instead of adopting a rear spoiler, the designers have used two active flaps integrated with the rear screen, creating a signature LTA theme. The overall perception is of a seamless whole, creating the idea of a very high-tech form. The development of this concept allowed the designers to treat the Ferrari 12 Cilindri's cabin in a new way, tracing the frame of the surface in body color to echo the rear screen theme and integrate organically with the rest of the cabin, which itself is characterized by a black screen effect. The tail section ends in a very clean, monolithic volume in body color as well. The lower section, black or carbon fiber, is characterized by the prominent diffuser keels over which the body almost seems to float. This area also includes the sensors and two twin tailpipes. The latter, comprising 4 elements altogether, also have a completely new shape, with a metal surround to reduce the perception of their size and create a more compact look. The design of the Ferrari 12 Cilindri's interior sees it split into 3 different levels. The first, dominated by the upper part of the dash, continues around to blend into the door panel trim. Next is the central area, while the third includes the footwells and seats. Each level is clearly defined, heightening the dual cockpit effect through the color and material combinations. These are used to create either an elegant or sporty look for the seats and other features. Ferrari's signature luxury and performance are flanked on the Ferrari 12 Cilindri by a focus on environmental sustainability. Extensive use has been made of sustainable materials such as Alcantara copyright containing 65% recycled polyester. The interior style takes its inspiration from the Prancing Horse's dual cockpit architecture. In recent years, that layout was used for the Ferrari Roma and Roma Spider, as well as the Ferrari Purosangue. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri's cabin has an almost symmetrical structure comprising 2 modules for driver and passenger, and offering an astonishing standard of comfort and involvement in the driving experience. The dashboard extends horizontally, a fact underscored by a clear separation between the trimmed volumes in the upper section and the technical functions in the lower section. The upper section features 2 distinct binnacles dedicated to the driver and passenger instrumentation and to the climate control vents. A deftly elegant color and material change draws the eye to the 2 volumes separated by the body of the dash, which seem almost to float, further enhancing the feeling of lightness in this area. The panels of the central tunnel extend outward from the dashboard geometries, as if they were almost an extension of the latter. The trimmed area features a large sculptural gash emphasized by contrasting materials. The armrest is in the trimmed area of the tunnel and extends into the medallion area, revealing contrasting metallic edging that creates an elegant intersection between the volumes. The side section of the tunnel itself has been scooped out, again recreating that floating feeling. It is trimmed with luxury materials and also features a Y-shaped metal element into which the iconic gate shift has been set. On the Ferrari 12 Cilindri, quality of life on board was one of the main drivers for the development of the bespoke interiors features. A new, generously sized tinted glass roof has been incorporated, which significantly improves the airiness of the cabin and thus the feeling of space on board, ensuring optimum thermal efficiency in both summer and winter. In terms of design, the dark-hinged glass roof is perfectly integrated into the upper part of the cabin, giving it an elegant and refined appearance and creating continuity between the windscreen and the rear screen. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri introduces a new human-machine interface, HMI, comprising 3 displays that raise the Ferrari V12 Berlinetta onboard experience to new heights. All of the main functions can be controlled from the central 10.25 touchscreen capacitive display within reach of both driver and passenger. This is flanked by a 15.6 driver display showing all of the driving and vehicle dynamics information. Lastly, the passenger is always completely involved in the driving experience thanks to an 8.8 display that ensures they feel like a genuine co-driver. The car sports the capacitive steering wheel seen on all of the latest models in the range, featuring the indented buttons for ease of use. This means that command activations are more precise, instant, and intuitive even in sporty driving conditions. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri comes with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto-based mobile connectivity systems as standard, both easily controlled from the new central display. A wireless charging mat on the central tunnel, as standard, makes phone charging simple too. Available as an optional on the Ferrari 12 Cilindri is the high-end audio system developed in collaboration with Burmester, comprising 15 loudspeakers and unleashing a massive 1600W for a genuinely unprecedented in-car experience at any volume and any speed. The high frequencies are crystal clear and sparkling thanks to ring tweeter technology which minimizes distortion. The powerful dual-coil subwoofer guarantees a wonderfully full, rich sound which, thanks to ultra-flat headliners, is all part of a 360-degree listening experience. The main objective of the Ferrari 12 Cilindri's aerodynamics was to produce a sober, elegant car without compromising on performance. The 25mm Nolder on the boot lid and the active aero are the two signature elements of the tail section. The former guarantees the recompression required to maintain the car's aero efficiency when drag is minimal, while the flaps permit 2 different configurations, low drag (LD) and high downforce (HD) respectively. In the low drag position, the flaps are flush with the bodywork so that the air runs over it uninterrupted, making them invisible to the flow. This configuration is retained until a speed of 60 kilometers when downforce is not very relevant to the performance of the car, something that is also the case over 300 kilometers per hour. In between these two speeds, however, downforce plays a central role and the spoiler's movement depends on the car's longitudinal and lateral acceleration. In high downforce configuration, the Ferrari 12 Cilindri generates maximum downforce and guarantees that the car is aerodynamically balanced. The underbody is designed to maximize efficient vertical load generation, also by managing the airflow out of the central radiators. The plan, form, and profile of the luves in the central opening of the underbody minimize the impact of the hot air which is not highly energized. 2 luves have been created in the low-pressure area behind the front wheels, which, by reducing overpressure inside the engine compartment, increase the efficiency of the radiating masses, lowering drag and increasing downforce generation. As was the case with the 812 Competizione, downforce on the front underbody is generated by 3 pairs of vortex generators optimized in the wind tunnel. The front underbody also contributes to brake cooling by delivering a flow of lower temperature air from the front splitter. The central underbody was designed to correctly channel airflows to retain the available energy all the way to the rear diffuser. To that end, the transmission tunnel opening was reduced to balance the amount of air that would flow inside it. A raised section ahead of the rear wheel shields the tires and deflects the flow towards the rear. The rear underbody sports a pair of vortex generators, which are used to produce efficient downforce and channel the flows towards the extractor. In line with Ferrari's philosophy of transferring innovations from the racing world to the road-going sports cars, the engineers designed an air inlet near the outer edge of the rear fence to provide ventilation for the silencer's electronics. The heat dissipation requirements of the engine and ancillaries demanded a redesign of the car's tire cooling system, which resulted in front underbody evacuation being optimized with no fewer than 7 openings in the front bumper. In particular, the space between the longitudinal elements of the chassis houses the engine coolant radiator and air-con circuit condenser, which are fed by the central opening, while the oil radiator has been split into 2 separate elements, lying ahead of the front wheels. The 2 side air intakes are divided in 2. The outer part is designed to cool the giant oil radiator while the inner one cools the brakes. A generous brake cooling duct is fed by 2 openings, one between the radiator intakes and the other on the lower part of the front splitter. The entire system is integral to the oil radiator intake to optimize the routing of the front brake intakes. The side intakes are framed by an L-shaped element designed to maximize the amount of air entering the opening whilst simultaneously correctly channeling the flow along the car's flanks. The air in the engine bay exits through 2 vents on the bonnet, which reduce overpressure, improving cooling efficiency. Thanks to the latter, there are fewer openings on the underbody, thereby maximizing efficient downforce generation. On the wing, behind the front wheels, there is also a vent for the air from the wheel arch, which minimizes overpressure on the underbody caused by the cooling duct for the brakes and front diffusers. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri boasts the very state-of-the-art in-front and Berlinetta dynamic controls. The introduction of brake-by-wire allowed the latest innovations from the range to be adopted, including ABS Evo that debuted on the 296 GTB and the 6D sensor that guarantees optimal precision to the virtual short wheelbase, PCV 3.0 and side slip control, SSC 8.0 systems. Together with reduced braking distances and a more accurate repeatability of braking, the aspirated torque shaping, an entirely new control logic, also emphasizes even further the smoothly near power delivery from the legendary naturally aspirated engine. Thanks to electronic control, the SSC 8.0, a new evolution of the famous Ferrari control unit, allows the systems to talk to each other using a shared language that calculates the optimal operating mode for each one in order to maximize the car's overall performance. The SSC 8.0 integrates the Ferrari 12 Cilindri's controllers and creates natural synergy with the new ABS Evo. The SSC 8.0 is Ferrari's proprietary system and has been optimized to further improve estimation accuracy and learning speed, plus 10% compared to previous applications, as well as control on very low grip surfaces. Grip estimation is flanked by the contribution of the grip recognition logic. By using the information from the EPS CPU and the side slip angle estimated by the SSC 8.0, the Ferrari 12 Cilindri can estimate the tire road grip level even when steering. Thanks to this approach, the grip can also be estimated in normal use conditions and not just on the limit, making it faster for the system to learn real grip levels. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri features the 4-wheel independent steering, 4WS, that debuted on the Special Series 812 Competizione, which manages the movement of every wheel independently to improve yaw management in cornering and responsiveness during rapid direction changes. The rear wheel steering has innovative mechanical characteristics that significantly improve precision of control of the position of each single actuator, giving faster axle response time and consequently improved responsiveness through corners. Optimum handling is also ensured thanks to a near-ideal weight distribution, 48.4% front and 51.6% rear, and the car's responsiveness also benefits from the 20mm reduction in the wheelbase compared to the 812 Superfast. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri can be fitted with Michelin Pilot Sport S5 or Goodyear Eagle F1 Supersport tires, both of which were developed in a new size for the Maranello company, 275/3, 5 ZR21 at the front and 315/35 ZR21 at the rear. Development benefited from physical and virtual sessions, the latter carried out through simulator testing to reduce the number of physical prototypes and, consequently, development times and cycles. Performance has been optimized thanks to the adoption of the latest technologies in terms of compounds, tread design concepts, and casing characteristics. Extensive testing has led to improved performance, dry grip levels, and balance, stability on the L. Embodying in the wet, as well as improved comfort and noise characteristics both internally and externally, including a 10% reduction in rolling resistance compared to the previous Ferrari front-engine V12 Berlinetta applications. The Ferrari 12 Cilindri's all-aluminium chassis, featuring a 20mm reduction in wheelbase compared to the 812 superfasts, is completely new. Specific attention was focused on the geometry of cast components such as the shock towers and A and C pillars to improve torsional rigidity whilst simultaneously reducing weight. The greenhouse topping the new chassis guarantees superb NVH and safety performance, in addition to clean load lines, which allowed stiffness to be improved without increasing weight compared to previous Ferrari 12-cylinder applications. The result was an increase of 15% in torsional rigidity compared to the 812 Superfast, which ensures more predictable dynamic behavior, with consequent benefits for suspension precision. Lastly, thanks to more extensive use of castings, the number of extruded components requiring assembly has been significantly reduced, making the assembly process more efficient. For the first time on a Ferrari production car, a secondary alloy with 100% recycled material has been used to make the shock towers of the gearbox subframe. Its introduction allows a reduction in carbon dioxide emissions of 146 kilograms of CO2 for every car produced. Thanks to an extensive development phase, it was possible to guarantee that the mechanical characteristics are the same as non-recycled alloy, exploiting the slight differences in chemical composition. For the validation of this new alloy, extensive testing was undertaken to assess the static and dynamic behavior of the components and ensure excellent results in fatigue and crash tests. Ferrari's unparalleled quality standards and increasing focus on client service underpin the extended 7-year maintenance program offered with Ferrari 12 Cilindri. Available across the entire Ferrari range, the program covers all regular maintenance for the first 7 years of the car's life. This scheduled maintenance is an exclusive service that allows clients the certainty that their car is being kept at peak performance and safety over the years. This very special service is also available to owners buying pre-owned Ferraris.